January was a great time for collecting comics. I've got a humble list of 10 comics that may be worth your time and your investment. If you want to know what they are, stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Keep It Comics. As always, I am the host, C3. Today, before we get started, I have to take the time to thank each and every one of our subscribers. We really appreciate you, and I know I couldn't do this without you. All right? We've got an excellent show planned for us today. Today's list is going to be light and fluffy. I know the last few ones that I put out were pretty extensive, and a lot of you guys were like, hey, can we get something for the poor people? Well, listen, this list is not about the poor people because I don't like to categorize anybody, but this is a more modest list, right? And this list could be for anybody. It could be for those who are just getting into buying and flipping comics for the first time, or it could actually be for the individual who wants to give speculating a try, right? It's just a simple list. Light and fluffy, a lot of fun books up here, not too expensive. Some of them may have a more steeper price, but again, it's just about having fun, all right? So you guys know the drill. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please ring that bell. So every time I do a video, you guys will get that notification, all right? So before we get started, you know what it is. And it ain't going to be nothing else, all right? So the first book I want to talk to you today about came out in January, and that's what this list is about. I want to focus on 10 of the hottest books that came out in January that may possibly be worth your time and your investment, right? Nothing crazy, real simple. So let's follow, all right? This was published by Marvel. The title is She-Hulk, issue number 1, and it's the Adam Hughes cover. I know over time we've seen a lot of She-Hulk variants, a lot of covers, and they're fun to have. A lot of people love collecting them. Maybe this may be one you want to add to your collection, or somebody else may be looking to purchase it, all right? Last recorded sale for this book in a raw copy was $5.50. It's showing significant gains. It is up 33.69%, which is not bad at all right? There are no graded sales for this book at the moment, but we do have raw copies selling on average for about $5.36. And back in January 17th, 2022, a raw copy of this book sold for $29.99. Now, this is just my opinion, people, all right? That might have been a pre-sale to where somebody thought they might have missed out or they were going to miss out and they wanted to secure or get that copy, and it was just a pretty steep purchase, right? So, because I don't see any of those books going for that at the moment. But again, there were 75 copies sold, and the numbers don't lie. So it's definitely worth giving a shot. It's definitely worth the flip. It's a great story. I read it. I enjoyed it. Light and fluffy. It wasn't too demanding. Definitely a good book worth having in the collection. All right. She-Hulk, issue number 1, the Adam Hughes cover. Next up, let's talk about Hulk, issue number 3. Published by Marvel. It was released on January 19th, 2022. The key factor to this book is it is the first cameo appearance of the Black Hulk, right? And that's an unofficial name. But the other key factor to it is it's the 1 in 25 Trad Moore variant. And I love me some Trad Moore artwork. Very psychedelic, very funky, man. Trippy. I love it. I think the first time I became familiar with Trad Moore was when he was doing artwork inside Silver Surfer Black. And I love that story when he and Donny Cates was working together. So again, definitely a book worth grabbing. Definitely a book worth having in the collection. All right. The last recorded sale for this book in a raw copy was $60. And that was back on January 31st, 2022. The current trend is up slightly at 1.91%. There are no graded sales on this book just yet, but raw copies do seem to be fluctuating between $51.98 and $52, right? The highest known sale for a raw copy in this book was $89.99, and that was back on January 19th, 2022. We have 104 raw copies of this book that have sold thus far, and that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. You know, so nothing major, but it is showing movement, and that's what it's about. So that means that there are people who are still interested in this book, and that's Hulk issue number 3, the 1 in 25 Tradmore variant. All right. Next up, this is a book that I'm hoping does really, really well. A lot of people slept on this book, and that's why this book is on this list. And I want to bring it to everybody's attention. All right. It was published by Bliss on Top Publishing, and the title is Duel issue number 1. Right. It came out on January 26, 2022. This book was released by small press. There weren't a lot of copies that were purchased in this book. Even when I went to specific comic book shops and asked about it, most of them said they only ordered 2 copies, 3 copies. Like no one mentioned to me that they ordered this copy in double digits. And I believe that's why this copy was on such high demand. But not to mention, it was definitely a good read also. So the key factor to this book would be that it was published by a small press and is a very low print run on this book, right? And if you guys remember, I mentioned that Jim's Comics was talking about this book on his channel. And he also mentioned that there are some variances out there that also have been doing well on the secondary market. So if you guys get the opportunity, definitely go back and try to look for those. But the last recorded sale for cover A and a raw copy was $19.99. The current trend is up on this book, 5.26%, right? Again, nothing major, but definitely steady gains. You can see that this book is moving. It has legs, and there's a possibility that it can catch wings, all right? So keep your eye on this book. There are no graded sales in this book just yet, but raw copies have been going for about $21.38. The highest known sale for a raw copy in this book was back on January 26, 2022, and it sold for $24.99. And that is not bad at all. If you can catch this book at cover price and then and put the flip on it for $25, that's not bad. So if you think about it, you're talking $19.95 plus shipping and handling, right? Or even if you sell it for $14.99 with shipping and handling, you're still making a little profit there. There's still a little room for growth on this book, all right? And I haven't heard anything about a second print on this book just yet either. So keep your ears out for that, because this book definitely shows a lot of potential, okay? And oh yeah, and just so everybody's clear, there has been 60 and better copies of this book that have been sold already. All right? So this book definitely is moving, and it's definitely an interesting book to have in the collection. All right? Next up, let's talk about a book that was just crazy when it first came out. This book came out the gate selling at $15. It was published by Marvel. The title is Thor, issue number 20. And it is Nick Klein's first appearance of the God of Hammers, right? It has the Nick Klein cover, and it's the first appearance of the God of Hammers. It came out on January 5th, 2022. $15 straight out the gate, ladies and gentlemen. The last recorded sale for this book in a raw copy was $39.99. It's currently trending upward in a motion of 6.43%, which is not bad. Again, nice, steady movement on the secondary market. People are buying this book. A lot of people didn't catch it on the way out, so they were waiting to see where it would go on the secondary market. And now that they see that it's going to stabilize itself, now everybody's getting their copies, right? Because the reality to it is Donnie Cates knows what he's doing. He knows how to write a good story, and it's definitely worth having. And here's something else that I don't know. If you guys have read this book, did you notice that the image of the God of Hammers, is that a female? I believe that's of a female, right? And that second printing is coming out to where that image is actually going to be on the cover. I believe it's a female. And I ain't mad about it. You know, if you want the book, purchase the book. I believe they're going to make it, I think it's going to be a ratio, second print. I think, yeah, it's going to run a little expensive, but definitely keep your eye on it because it's probably going to do some moving also. All right. Now, it's currently trending at 6.43%, and there are no graded sales in this book known just yet, but raw copies have been selling upon average for about $26.85. The highest known raw copy sold on January 9th, 2022 for $55. That's not bad. And again, if it had not been for, you know, the LCS that I frequent, you know, they looked out for me. So I was able to get a few copies of this book. And I was glad I did. Now, I don't do any flipping or anything like that. But it's definitely a book that I would like to have in my collection. It seems like we have 526 raw copies that have sold thus far. Right? And I'm happy to have this book in my collection. I think it's worth the time. And for some of you, you may actually feel that it's worth your investment because who knows what's going to happen. With all these things changing in the MCU, who knows if they use this character or not. If they do, you bought in at this character for a low, low price, right? If you had it on your pull list, yeah, you paid cover price, $3.99, right? Even at the $15 mark, it's still not bad because this book is probably going to do nothing but grow from here. All right, so keep your eye out for this book. Thor, issue number 20. First appearance of the God of Hammers. All right? Give me 1 second. I'm having cocoa today. Cocoa with marshmallows. Compliments of my daughter. I appreciate her. Definitely. Now, this book is for my DC fans that haven't given up on DC yet. You can't give up on DC. I know they're struggling right now, but we got to keep DC lifted up, man. We got to keep them motivated. We got to keep them encouraged. And this title is Batman issue number 119. I chose this book for all our die-hard Joker fans. Listen, people love their Joker. I love the Joker. The Joker is the joint. I like Penguin. Penguin is like one of my favorite. I actually want to see Penguin on the big screen. But I chose this book for my diehard Joker fans, right? And I'm talking about Batman issue number 119, the Dan Hip 1 in 25 cardstock variant. Yes. Dope cover. Dope cover. Last recorded sale for this book was $20.11. This was for a raw copy. It's currently trending upward. Believe it or not, this book is moving on the secondary market. It's trending upward at 19.98%. And even though there are no graded sales for this book, raw copies have been selling for $14.21 on average. All right? The highest recorded sale for a raw copy in this book was back on January 20th, 2022, when it sold for $23.17. And there's been a total of 41 copies of this book that have sold so far. And that is not bad at all. And remember, it was just January. That was just last month. We're still in the beginning parts of February. So we're still in the whole new year, ladies and gentlemen. And we got 11 more to go, right? So a lot could happen. You get in at the ground level, there's no telling where you can go with these books, right? So just keep your eye out for these books. Batman, issue number 119. And that's that Joker, Dan Hip 1 in 25 variant. Nice. Nice. All right. Next book we're going to talk about, excuse me, and you guys may be tired of me talking about this book, but I am not going to stop talking about this book. This book is This book has so much potential for growth, right? It was published by Marvel. The title is Strange Academy, issue number 15. And I'm talking about the Humberto Ramos cover, the first cover appearance of Gaslamp. This was one of January's hottest books, right? This book also came out the gate super hot. Super hot. It was hard to get your hands on a copy of this book. Last recorded sale for this book in a raw copy was $18.71. And that was on January 31st, 2022. It's currently trending upward at 20.44%. 20.44%, right? There are no graded sales of this book, but raw copies have been selling upon average $17.43, right? Now, the highest known raw copy sold for this book was back in January 16, 2022, where it sold for $36.95. And 284 raw copies have changed hands so far, ladies and gentlemen. And that is not bad at all. I could smile when I see that because there's potential here for growth. People can say what they want. Just because you can't make just because you're not making $1 million off a book doesn't mean that it's not worth the time. Doesn't mean that it's not worth the investment. Sometimes slow money is better than no money. Oh, trust me when I tell you. Slow money is definitely better than no money. So you pace yourself, and especially if you're just starting out. If you're just getting into this, you take your time. You ease your way into it. No one in their right mind just jumps in and spends $20,000 in a business investment that they know absolutely nothing about. If you do, that's not a smart investor, right? So this book is definitely worth the time, and it may even be worth the investment. All right? So, and like I said, 284 copies have changed hands so far. So I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only person who believes in this book. There's definitely room for growth in this book. All right? $15 out the gate with plenty of room to grow. Who knows what the future holds for Strange Academy, issue number 15. First appearance of Gaslamp. Yes. Scotty Young and the crew. They do good work. All right. Next up. Very interesting book here, right? Haven't seen a lot of them, but I'm hoping to get my hands on one also. This book was published by Marvel. It came out on January 19, 2022. The title of this book is Venom, issue number 4. But the key factor to this book is that it's a David Yarnin exclusive Virgin variant. Yes. That all black cover, man. The homage cover. Fire. You know how difficult it is to get your hands on a decent copy of an all black cover? With no flaws, no damages, no anything? You know how hard it is to secure that? It's difficult. Now listen, here's the thing about this book. The current trend is stable. It's neither up nor down. Think about it. But raw copies have been selling for about $53.38. The last recorded sale in the raw copy for this book was $45. So look at there. You've already seen a little bit of growth right there. The last recorded sale was at $45, but upon average, it's selling for $53.38. The highest known sale for this book in a raw copy was back in January 20th, 2022, when it sold for a nice $64.95. Yes. $64.95. Now, there's not a lot of copies out there. So there have been 4 raw copies that have changed hands so far. But if you look this book up and you think that if this is something that you're interested in, you might want to get your hands on the book. And if you think that there's potential for growth here, right? Because everybody loves The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 300, the Todd McFarlane cover. And that's probably one of the most homage covers ever. But again, this is a black cover. Very difficult to secure in a 9.8. Very, very hard, right? But if you can do that, send it in, get it graded, and get that 9.8, man, think about what you'll have. Just think about it. There's already not a lot of these books out there. All right? So keep that in mind. Venom, issue number 4, the David Yarnin exclusive Virgin variant. It could be yours. It can definitely be yours. All right? Let's keep going. The next book I want to talk to you about, published by Marvel. This book got a lot of love when it was released. It was released on January 26, 2022. And the title of this book is Mary Jane and the Black Cat Beyond, issue number 1. And I'm talking about the Adam Hughes 1 in 50. Yes, again, another Adam Hughes cover. Adam Hughes has a very big following. People love him. People and they respect his artwork, man. Right? The last recorded sale for this book in a raw copy was $129.99, and that was on January 30th, 2022. That was only a few days ago. That was literally just a couple days ago. And it's currently trending up at 0.48%. And even though there are no graded sales data on this book just yet, raw copies of this book have been selling for $125 upon average. Yeah. That's not bad at all. The highest known sale for this book in a raw copy is $129.99, and that's back on June 30th, 2022. All right? And we've seen 41 raw copies of this book change hands so far. Man, you can't beat that. You can't beat that at all. This book just came out. It just hit the street. And it's moving. 41 copies. Yeah. So that it shows you right there that people are putting time and they're investing in this book. Right? So it may be worth it. It could quite possibly be worth it. Mary Jane and the Black Cat Beyond. Dope artwork. Adam Hughes, 1 in 50. All right. The next book now, listen to these numbers. This book was published by Marvel. The title is 10 Deaths of Wolverine, issue number 1. It was released on January 26, 2022. The key factor to this book is that it is a Sam Keith Hidden Gem 1 in 100 variant. Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Now, check it out. The last recorded sale for a raw copy of this book was $62, and that was back on January 28, 2022. Again, the trend for this book is neither up nor down. When I looked on eBay, there weren't a lot of copies out there right now. There weren't a lot of copies out there then. You may check now and you may see a few, right? But there weren't a whole bunch of these out there. So there's no graded data on this book just yet. But raw copies on average have been selling about $72.96. And when I look at this book, I'm like, wow, Keith has he has a decent following. It's kind of like, excuse me. He has like his own following, like people who are familiar with his artwork, and when he's doing work, people purchase his work, right? The highest known raw copy for this book sold at $149.99, and that was back on January 24th, 2022. And so far, we have 11 raw copies that have changed hands in this book. Yeah, and if you look at this artwork, I have established that this is preferred artwork. Like, you have to have an acquired taste for this type of artwork, right? But there are people who are very much interested in this book. Very interested. It's different, right? It's different. Doesn't mean it's not worth it. It may not be worth it to you, but it may be worth it to someone else, right? So it's definitely a book worth taking a look at. Again, in Wolverine, you can't go wrong with Wolverine. Definitely can't go wrong with the Wolverine, right? So keep your eye out for this book. There's movement with this book, right? And I'll be back to check on the numbers and see where this book is going. I'll definitely be keeping my eye out for this book because it may be worth me grabbing a copy also. All right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the last comic book on this list, right? But before I do, let me stop. Let me take the time and thank each and every one of you for stopping by and checking out the channel. Again, this list wasn't meant to do anything except bring you enjoyment. That's it. It's a light and fluffy list, nothing too serious, nothing too extravagant, just something we could speculate on, maybe possibly make a couple easy flips, just to get us by. Nothing spectacular, so don't crucify me. Oh, that list was garbage. You don't know what you're talking about. Who is this guy? It's all good, man. It's just a list, man. It's 10 hot comics from the month of January that may be worth your time and your investment, man. That's all it is. It's simple, cut and dry. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us today. And look, and if you stick around to the end, I'll show you guys what I grabbed for New Comic Book Day. Just for spits and giggles. All right? So, the last book I want to talk to you about, it is a trifecta. It is straight fire. So, check this out. It's published by Marvel. I know you heard about it. Who hasn't heard about it? I'm talking about Black Panther, issue number 3, the first appearance of Tosin Uduye. Yeah. Came out the gate hot. It was released on January 26, 2022. The last recorded sale for this book and a raw copy was $40. And that was back in February 2nd, 2022. The current trend for this book is up 10.69%. There are no graded sales. There's no graded data on this book just yet. But raw copies are sell upon average for $37.99. Yeah. The highest known sell for a raw copy of this book is $48.99, and that was back in January 30th, 2022. And so far, we've seen this book change hands 169 times. 169 copies sold in a raw copy of this book. Black Panther, issue number 3. Can't go wrong with that. Cannot go wrong with that. That's crazy. And not to mention, cover A is doing well also. Cover A is doing well. So you guys look at cover A and tell me what you think. Because either way, you can't go wrong with this book. There's a lot of speculation going on with this book because of this new character. Somebody who is fond of the old ways of the Wakanda, and they've taken the vibranium and used it in a different manner as this new modern Wakanda has, right? So it's more spiritual for them, and they've seen this character. They use this vibranium, these vibranium type markings or tattoos or whatever you want to call them, and it produces pretty much the similar power that we've seen T'Challa have when he's in that suit, when he's in the Black Panther suit that comes from the leaf. So there's some speculation going on with this book. I'm not going to jump out the window and say who he may be or who he not be, or who he's not, but somebody sees something in this book, right? So we got 169 copies of this book that have moved so far, right? And that's of that particular cover. And I want to also talk to you about this next cover. Now, this cover in itself, this is the Joe Jusko cover. Yes, the Joe Jusko variant has been selling for $65. That was the last recorded sale for this book. $65, and that was in February 2nd, 2022. This book is currently trending upward at 88.81%. Yeah, this one's doing better than the last one, right? No graded sales data on this cover just yet, but raw copies for this book have been selling upon average $51.62. And like I said, the last recorded high sale for this book was February 2nd, 2022, where it sold for $65. So far, we've got 11 copies of this book that have sold. Yeah. And I got to tell you honestly, I'm just happy. I'm just thrilled that there has been some interest in the Black Panther. Like that last story that they were telling, all that spaceship nonsense, all that outer space stuff, it's crazy. Like it was just garbage. But I'm glad that we got some writers on this book that are delivering a story that people are interested in. For me, that's what it is. Like create the content in these books that the people want to read. Like put stuff in the comic books that people want to read. Keep the interest, going for this, and particularly this particular character with the work that was put in on the big screen, right? So let's not let all that fall short. If you guys hear me out there, Marvel. Right? All that work the young man Chadwick Boseman put into this character, we can't let the legacy die off like that. All right? Rest in peace to the big homie. All right? So far, 11 raw copies have been sold, and I'm almost certain that going into these next few months, this book is going to continue to move, right? And that's not it, because like I said, a trifecta. Now, let's talk about that Torrin Clark 1 in 25. Oh, baby. This book is dancing on the secondary market. Look, January 22nd, 2020, this book came out. It's a 1 in 25. Last recorded sale for this book in a raw copy was $588.88. It's currently trending upward, 71.66%. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic about this book moving like that, man. I'm happy to see this book getting that type of recognition, right? Even though there is no graded data on this book, raw copies on average have been selling for about $555. Yes. Let's get it. Yes. Absolutely. Flippers unite. This book is fire. Let's get it. Highest known graded sale for a raw copy in this book sold back in January 30th, 2022, $588.88. And we've been seeing 48 copies of this book move on the secondary market. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Black Panther issue number 3 is definitely a book that may be worth your time and an investment. Because sky's the limit with this book. If they do it right, if they flush this character out right, and if they do it, if they really, really put the time into molding this character and the world behind him, who is he, where he comes from, what does he stand for, man, this could be a next big book for Black Panther. This could be another move. This could be a step up. This could be a step up. A whole new direction. You never know. You never know. And I'm excited about that. I'm just excited at the possibilities. Because that's how much I love this hobby. I'm just excited at the fact of what it could be. All right? So listen, those are 10 books from January that may be worth your time and maybe an investment. You be the judge. You consider. You give it the thought. You think about it. All right? But that's the list. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you saw something you like. And before we go, like I promised, I'm going to show you guys what I grabbed on New Comic Book Day. All right? So I'm going to take these, move these over here. Really quick. It's good stuff. Now, shout out to the big homie over there, Rockin' Robbie, Pop Culture's Philosophers. Good dude, great show, respect, love. I heard about this book because of him. And I'm talking about New Masters, issue number 1. Decided to give it a read. Happy to have it. Some of them you'll see in bags. Some of them are not in bags. I did run out of bag and boards. I have to get more. So I've just been getting them, for whatever the comic shop had. I would grab what I could. Yep. The New Masters, issue number 1. Recommended by Pop Culture Philosophers. Rock and Robbie. All right. Next up, one of my favorite books I've been reading since it came out. And this is The Scumbag. And this is issue number 12. My boy Ernie. Ernie, yo, he's a beast. Love him. Love him. Next up, another book that I've been reading. Happy to have it. And like I said, this book was getting overshadowed by Something That's Killing the Children, but it's also a good read. So if you see it, grab it. Give it a shot. Coming from Boom Studios, and this is Basilisk, issue number 7. Definitely. All right. This book was one I had to pick up because it was in my pull box. It's probably a back issue, but I grabbed it anyway. From Aftershock, issue number 2, Maniac of New York, The Bronx is Burning. Yes, love the cover. It's a good story too. I mean, that first story arc was fire. I really enjoyed it. It reminded me of Jason Takes Manhattan. It was a good read though. Next up, from Marvel, I grabbed Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, issue number 2, and I grabbed that white cover. And I've got to hurry up and throw this one in the Mylar before it gets dirty. Yes, I'm definitely nervous about getting that one dirty. All right. Next up, I grabbed 10 Lives of Wolverine. This is issue number 2, and this is the Stormbreaker variant. Yay. Beautiful cover. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Remember what I told you. Can't go wrong with Wolverine. Set that down. Next up from Marvel, I grabbed Savage Spider-Man, issue number 1. And this is that Todd McFarlane homage cover. Yeah. Todd McFarlane must be really proud, man, because he is probably one of the most homaged artists in the industry, man, in the game, man. Like, so he must be extremely thrilled, man, that everybody just digs him like that. Next up, from Marvel, we have Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. Yay. I definitely got to read this and see what this is about. Another white cover. But look, this is what the artwork looks like on the inside. Got good artwork. Got Ethan Sachs on the story. Got Will Sliney on the artwork. Yeah. I'll be reading this tonight when I get done with my homework. Definitely. Halcyon Legacy. All right, keep it moving. Next up, Marvel, issue number 14 of Star Wars, The High Republic. There's that one. Next up, this is Thor, issue number 21. Yes. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the origin story of the God of Hammers. So, got to make sure I put those in bags and boards, man. I just feel crazy that they're not even bagged and board right now. All right, next up, again, coming from Marvel, This is issue number 2 of Star Wars, Crimson Reign. Excuse me. And this is that Raja cover. Beautiful. Nice. Super dope. Nice. I also grabbed this cover. Yep, that's a female too. I gotta read that to figure out who that is. All right, for all my DC lovers out there, and for myself, because I thought this was just a beautiful cover. I love this artist. And this is Batman issue number 120. And this is that Francesco Mattina cover, man. Look how nice that is. Look at that. It's just a beautiful cover. Beautiful cover. Very nice. And if you look in the background of that cover, you see all the detail. You see all the other characters that are up in there. Yes. All right, next up. Here's my other copy of New Masters issue number 1. And not for nothing, I actually read this already. And yes, it is a good read. It's got a great story in it. Definitely go out, grab it, give it a shot. Yeah. Recommended by Pop Culture Philosopher. Next up from DC, I grabbed Detective Comics issue number 1051. Here's one of my big books. I was happy to get my hands on this. I couldn't believe it was still sitting on the shelf, so I hurried up and grabbed it. And this is the Excellent issue number 1, David Mack. David Mack. Shout out to my boy Dave. He know I like David Mack. So he made sure I got this one. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Love his artwork. See your true self. Man, see your true self. That's deep. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Good vibes only. That's it. Next up, this was a cover purchase for me. I don't actually think I've read this book probably for about 2 years, maybe even 3. But I saw this cover and I had to have it. And this is my Zenoscope Bell Annual, issue number 25. And I thought that was just a beautiful cover. And you know how I am about yellow. So I couldn't pass it up, man. It was just, I couldn't even pass it up. Beautiful cover. It's going into my yellow cover collection, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I have a yellow cover collection. I'm weird like that. I'm just weird like that. All right, next up from Marvel, I have X-Men's Legend, issue number 11, with my New Mutants 98 homage cover. Definitely happy to have this. First Deadpool homage. Very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very nice. Again, 10 Lives of Wolverine, issue number 1. This is that Ivan Cielo Stormbreaker cover. This is what it looks like in a Mylar. Boy, he purdy. He purdy. Yeah, he is. Look at that. Nice. Nice. I like that. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. Very nice. All right. And for those of you who, again, you know how I am about my yellow covers, so you know that there was no way I was passing up the Marvels issue number 8. This baby right here, man. Holy smokes, look at the yellow and black, man. The yellow, black, and the red banging. Yeah, buddy. That's just beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Green, black, red, and yellow. My favorite colors. Very nice. The Marvels, issue number 8. Next up, it's a book that a lot of people were going crazy over. I hope you guys found your copies. The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 88. First appearance of the Queen Goblin. Nice. Yes, very nice. Very nice. All right. That one. I was able to grab a second copy as well. Let's see. I think I got a couple in here. Let's see. I got a couple in here. Oh, yeah. I guess I do. And I got a couple of bags and boards. As you can see, I was purchasing the bags and boards individually, right? So the next book I'll show you, what I got was the Stormbreaker variant, the Juan Cabal, 10 Deaths of Wolverine. 10 deaths, 10 lives, depending on which way you're looking at it, either upside down or the other way. Yes, I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but one side says 10 deaths, the other one says 10 lives. X death, X lives, however you want to say it. It's all good. Tomato, tomato. Tomato, tomato. You say tomato, I say tomato. All right, but this is a beautiful cover. All white, and I definitely want to put it down before I get my fingerprints all over. But that cover is a beautiful cover. Dope. I like it. And I'm actually going to just pop this in the plastic right now, just to make sure it's safe. Because right now there ain't a spot on her. All right. Here's that one. Oh, the next one I want to show you is the Amazing Spider-Man, Queen Goblin. And this is the Patrick Gleason design variant. And if you look at the top, you can see what I had to pay for that, baby. Yeah. Look, can you see that? It's all good. Whatever. It's worth it. I'm happy. I'm smiling. It's worth it. It's worth it. Queen Goblin. I wonder what they're going to do with her. I wonder if she's going to do anything, right? You never know. Big Spider-Man fan, though, so it's all good. Now, I grabbed this book. This is a back issue purchase, but Reptile issue number 1. Yes. My guy Dave was like, grab that. Thank me for it later. Grab one of those. Thank me later. Shout out to the homie Dave, man. Shout out to the homie. Grab that. Thank me later. Thanks. Yo, thanks, D. That's what's up. All right. So, I was also able to grab The Punisher, Warzone, issue number 1. Yes, The Punisher, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to see him. Yo, when he hit the mean streets in New York, it's going to be over. Watch. Marvel not playing. Feige and them know what they doing. They about to bring all these characters through. It's about to be. It's about to go down in the MCU, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And last, but definitely not least, Black Panther, issue number 3. Legacy issue number 200. Cover A. Excellent. I'm just happy I was able to grab a few more copies of this book and add it to my collection. Right? Great story. Issue number 3. And this is cover B. Beautiful. Beautiful. And definitely make sure you look these up on a secondary market. Definitely room. There's definitely potential for growth when it comes to these covers. Check all of them out. Cover A, check them out. Cover B, cover C, the 1 in 25, all of them. There's potential for growth in all of them because there's no telling where they can go with this character if they flush them out properly. All right? So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My time's up. I hope you saw something you like. Thank you again for stopping by checking out the channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing. We appreciate it. Okay? You know what I always say. Don't hate, congratulate. Show some love because that don't cost you nothing. Appreciate. But no matter what you do, ladies and gentlemen, when you see me, always keep it comics. Peace. I'll see you guys next video. Good vibes only.